What is up, everybody? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo, episode 2, season 6. We are on. And you know what today is, right, everybody? It is opening night in North America, NHL season. We've got 3 games tonight, all on ESPN, and we're going to break it down. And we got interesting news and topics to talk about today. All right, let's get to the first topic of the day. Ilya Shesterkin, the goaltender of the New York Rangers, according to reports, he has rejected an $88 million contract. Out of his freaking mind. He's cray-cray. Are you kidding? You're rejecting an $88 million 8-year deal. You get $11 million per. You're getting be the richest goalie in the NHL, and you rejected $88 million. And you're one of the favorite teams to go for the Stanley Cup. And last year, you were the President's Trophy winners. And I'll say this, that window of opportunity for the Rangers, it's going to be closing if they don't get this deal done. Shesterkin is a bona fide top 5 goalie in the National Hockey League. He rejected that contract. That is pretty bold of him. I mean, are we going to see a similar situation with what happened with the Bruins and Jeremy Swayman, and they finally met and got a compromisable deal as Ilya Sorokin got his deal as an 8.25 8-year contract extension? I believe it's going to happen, but I think it's going to be a lot of hard feelings. But overall, that was pretty bold and ballsy of Shesterkin, I should say. There's too many, it says blah, blah, blah. But Shesterkin made probably a bad mistake with this contract negotiation talks, rejecting $88 million. That right there it's a ballsy negotiation tactic, but let's just see what happens. But let's just see what the cap floor is. The Jacob Trouba situation. If you would have traded Jacob Trouba, you would have gotten that $88 million or $100 million contract extension. But, goaltending investments are always shady and risky at best. Remember Rick DiPietro, everyone, the number 1 overall pick by the New York Islanders, and the man who got a 15-year, $70 million contract, and then he ended up having injuring both knees, groin, both areas, hip, hernia, concussion, and then he got this big buyout, which is going to last until 2029, 2030. Yeah, I mean, that's a risk taking. Goalies are a very risky commodity. You got to make sure they are healthy physically and mentally. I mean, look what happened to Robin Leonard. He was a hot commodity for a second. Now he hasn't been playing in the league for the last few years. I mean, I can go on. Yeah, there's been a lot of goalies. I can't name all of them, but I know there's a good chunk, about 40% of these goalies, they get these contracts, done. They are just injury and not the same product of a goalie. I mean, or underperforming a decision what team you go to. If you go to a team that is an underwhelming defense, you just go for the money. That's just stupid. If you stay with the team, it varies. Results with goalies vary when it comes to what's your surrounding. If it's the city, if it's the players, the structure, everything, it varies. But now on to the next topic. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are going to be practicing in North Carolina for the rest of the week due to Hurricane Milton. And if Amalie Arena in downtown Tampa gets hit hard, like what happened to Smoothie King Center in New Orleans back in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina, if that arena in Tampa gets damaged, I wouldn't be surprised that the National Hockey League will do drastic measures in the last moment. They could temporarily put the team in Houston. They could put the team temporarily in Quebec City. They could put the team anywhere in North America, only if it's a geographical reasonable location. Yeah, and I'm just hoping that that Amalie Arena is going to survive this hurricane. I'm sending my prayers and thoughts to our neighbors on the west coast of Florida and everyone being safe. Yeah. So now let's get to topic number 3 of the day. Utah Hockey Club debut tonight on ESPN playing against the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, what are the odds that we get the most annoying broad saying Hawk Tua? It's like Hawk Utah. Oh my God. I mean, what are the odds of this? Oh my God. I mean, you can't write a funny script in that. I mean, you're going to have a good crowd tonight. It's going to be sold out. You sold out your season tickets. That arena is going to be buzzing. I mean, you got a few obstruction seats. I mean, hey, at least you're there to witness history. That welcome to the NHL in Salt Lake City, Utah. 2 to 3 years, a couple of phase renovations, making sure there's no obstruction views, and making a world-class venue for Utah Hockey Club, aka Yeti, and Utah Jazz, and the Winter Olympics of 2034. I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. You've got Connor Bedard against Clayton Keller. I mean, this is gonna be a fun matchup. It's going to be a highly anticipated matchup, and there's a lot of festivities going on in Salt Lake City. We'll get that in review on my storyboard later, but that right there is going to be a fun matchup. I mean, it sucks that Arizona doesn't have a team, but they'll get another team in the next 5-10 years from now. They just got to make sure they get an arena, they get like I said, a brand new arena, an ownership with deep pockets, stability. Everything's got to have structure these days, people. Plus, it's a big TV market. I'm going to talk about expansion another day when we have nothing to talk about. But now we've got today's matchups. We got the St. Louis Blues playing the Seattle Kraken on ESPN at 4:30. Then you've got the Boston Bruins against the reigning Stanley Cup champs, the Florida Panthers. I'll be attending that game tonight on ESPN as well. And the Blackhawks, as I said before, playing Utah Yeti, aka Hockey Club, for tonight's game at 10 o'clock. And I'll say this is a fun matchup between the Bruins and the Panthers. They are the new hot commodity rivalry in the NHL. It's been this way for, we know we got a lot of snowbirds from Boston and the New England area coming down to Florida. I mean, this rivalry is going to be intense. The last 2 playoffs, the Panthers defeated the Bruins in a biggest shocking upset of all time in playoff history when the Bruins had that crazy 65 win season and they lost to the Panthers, who barely clawed themselves into the playoffs. And the Panthers went all the way to the Cup final, losing to Vegas. And then last year they met each other in the second round, and the result, the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, I'm excited about this matchup as well. This is going to be a fun game to watch. That's my main circle. I'm circling that one because I'm going to the game and I'm going to be excited, and I get to witness a Stanley Cup banner. I mean, I've seen about 7 or 8 banners ever since I moved down here from Michigan. And I've seen, several division titles, President's Trophy, couple of conference championships, Stanley Cup banner, and Wayne Izinga, Roberto Luongo, and Mr. Bill Torrey got rest in peace. Yeah. It was probably a interesting thing to see. We're adding more Raptors up there. That's kind of the fun of it in sports. And now let's talk about the experts. Before we do the experts, predictions of tonight's games, home ice advantage. It's going to be a hot home ice frenzy. I got the Kraken beating the Blues. I got the Panthers beating the Bruins. I got Utah winning its first ever game in the NHL against the Chicago Blackhawks. And I'm going to say this. That Blackhawk-Utah game is going to be a very close game. I wouldn't be surprised if Connor Bedard gets 3, maybe 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. And I think Bedard is going to be a 100-point getter this year. All right, now let's talk about the experts. The experts are really, really riding on the Edmonton Oilers winning the Cup this year, because, I've watched the playoffs, and all that stuff. They love Connor McDavid. I don't know what was worse, the biased with Crosby or McDavid. It just gives you a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, are you kidding? We've got this whole thing. I kind of like everybody's picking Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup. Everyone's picking Edmonton to win the cup. A few people picking New Jersey Devils and the Dallas Stars and Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah, I gotta tell you, my division winners this year. We're talking about our 4 division winners. All right, so I got Dallas winning the Central. I've got the Oilers winning the Pacific. I got the Panthers winning the Atlantic. And I got the New Jersey Devils winning the Metropolitan. And my conference finals, like I said yesterday, it's going to be Nashville against Edmonton. Edmonton wins the West. And Florida plays New Jersey in the conference finals. And the Florida Panthers will play the Edmonton Oilers again in the Stanley Cup Finals. And this year, I hate to be biased, the Florida Panthers are deep. I like to see the media go crazy like if it's election night all over again. Tough break, Edmonton. Connor McDavid, I like you, bud, but you're going to get another Conn Smythe trophy. And, for your second prize, I'm just going to give you guys, here you go. Like a participation trophy ribbon and a runner-up ring, and it's going to say 0 for 2. Oh, boy. And plus, all the hockey writers and the naysayers and experts and the talk show hosts, including myself, we're all wrong from time to time. I mean, it's just predictions. This is like the first day of the season, and everyone's trying to make a big deal of their dumb predictions. And, let the season play it through. And remember, this is like real estate, Wall Street, and Vegas. The odds, the markets, you name it, It's like watching your stock portfolio going up and it's gone. Yeah. It's gone. I mean, I tell you, we're going to see a fun night in the NHL, and plus, everybody's has to come to watch opening night for their hometown teams. It's fun. It's a festive event, and plus, hockey season's coming, and the leaves are changing finally, and we're going to have a lot of fun festivities. And now we're going to talk about congratulations to the Florida Panthers for the first time in team history. They have a waiting list for season tickets. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers. It's a long time coming. I mean, I remember the days I go to those games, as an undergrad in college. They were barely making ends meet. They were basically making these corny, tacky promotions going, oh yeah, if you have a scratch off lottery, you take out a Florida ID, whatever, we'll let you in for free and all that stuff. I mean, here's a $7 Lure Bowl ticket and you get a free jersey and all that stuff. Those days are long gone. Now you've got the hottest ticket in town, a Stanley Cup winner, and a team that you can have faith for, since the Dolphins suck and the Miami Heat are going to be a rebuilding team if and when Jamie Butler goes bye-bye. And the Marlins, they suck. Horrible location. This is a hockey town in South Florida. Hey, hockey town. This is a new era in the South, in the state of Florida. Tampa and South Florida, they own hockey, and it's Hockey Town, USA, the whole entire state of Florida. Yeah, we're going to see that one. And now I'll say this. NCAA is allowing the Canadian Hockey League players. This is a play in the NCAA. This has been a long time coming. And this right here, people, is got to be one of the most controversial, opinionated things I'm going to say about this. The NCAA has always had this tradition of bringing in high school kids, major junior players from the USHL and the North American League, the Canadian Junior Hockey League, and overseas. But now they're allowing, the strongest, best major junior league from the Canadian Hockey League, with the Ontario Hockey League, the Western Hockey League, the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League, into NCAA. And my prediction, I gotta see that we're gonna see some teams, like powerhouse teams, get even better, even the lower tier teams. I know there's 60-something teams in the NCAA right now. I wouldn't be shocked down the road we're gonna see expansion like never seen before, like USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon. We're going to see a historic increase in program coming into. I wouldn't be shocked that it would go to 100 programs, and and then it gets really ridiculous right here. I mean, since the NCAA is like allowing paid athletes NIL deals and all that, so that's why they're allowing it. It's a money making machine, and you're gonna see a very difficult time when it comes to scheduling. Conference games, out of conference games. This right here is going to be a unique situation. Am I in favor of this? Yes and no. It's a borderline of yes and no because, I'm not sure that it's a good idea that you're bringing in major junior players and then they just skip after 1 year and then they go to another to play. Like the transfer portal will be a major concern in college hockey. It's already is. You've seen, University of Northern Michigan. Northern Michigan University basically lost almost their entire team this past offseason, and now you've got all these new guys. I mean, it's breaking away from tradition. Like why is everybody just bouncing around like it's, you don't like one place or another? Stay in one place, enjoy those memories you're going to be making with your friends for the next 4 or 5 years. Instead of this, oh yeah, I got a new deal, I'm going to go to a major university. That's going to backfire on any player right now. Could you imagine any player that is a superstar at a small college like at Michigan Tech, Lake Superior State, Northern Michigan University, Minnesota Mankato, Minnesota Duluth, or Alaska Anchorage or Fairbanks? Could you imagine any of those guys who are top player going to another big school like it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Michigan State, and Ohio State, and Boston College, Harvard? Those guys will be basically either third, fourth liner or bench warmer at best. I mean, you already got well-established players. I mean, it's a risk for taking. You can go to the Frozen Four and all, but is it really worth it? We'll have to see. It's a borderline yes and no. Overall, it's good that the NCAA hockey is finally bringing in like legitimate star talent, and I gotta say they need to expand the teams and get some new, and making sure that there is a good balance. And don't forget club hockey. I mean, the way I see it, those programs are going to be promoted into the Division I program circuit in the next decade or so. That's what I'm going to see. Now, let's talk about Matt Rempe, New York Rangers. We've all heard that his offseason training has been very interesting. He's been improving his skating and his skill set. He came into the league, fighting Matt Martin, fighting, Ryan Reeves and stuff. I like the hot camaraderie with him because, everybody's calling him the modern day Bob Probert. I mean, there's only one Bob Probert, one Joey Kosher, and Stu Grimson, and Dave Schultz, Brian Spinner Spencer. There's always, and Terry O'Reilly. I mean, Mike Milbury. There's always an enforcer, and everyone knows that players in junior and college play well, and then the only way to survive is to adapt. Either you want to play defensively, a two-way game, fighting and all that stuff to protect your player. Yeah, I gotta say, Matt Rempe, he's going to be a full-time roster player. I believe he'll get some new career numbers. I think he'll have better stats than Pierre Engvall, who just got demoted from the New York Islanders to Bridgeport with $3 million on the cap. He got a $21 million contract. I got to say that Rempe, he is going to have somewhat of a unique year. I'm going to say he's going to get 15 goals and 40 points. I think he's going to do just fine. And I believe his fighting is going to be cut back about 60%. I think he's going to be mainly focusing on his skill set. Everyone's intimidated because he is a player who's going to be on the rise. So someone goes, "Hey, Gordo, I think the Panthers will be a wild card team this year. Do you agree?" Mainly because of the defense. I totally disagree with that. I like Buchwist and Nate Schmidt. I know I know the Panthers lost Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Brandon Montour, but the Panthers know how to find bargain deal players. Look what happened. Look how they got Gustav Nyquist, Gustav Forsling. Goose has been a marketable genius player. I mean, he is one of the best defensemen in the NHL. I gotta say, the Panthers are still going to be a playoff contending Stanley Cup contender. No wild card. The wild card teams we're going to see are not Boston Bruins. We're going to talk about the Lightning and the Senators. Oh yeah, I'm going to say that wild card. No. And you know who's in net tonight for the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers? Sergei Bobrovsky's in net, and Carpasolo is going to be in net for the Boston Bruins. Yeah, I'm just saying this. Wild card? You kidding me? No, I don't think they're a wild card team. That is just silly and ridiculous. All right, next up, Connor Bedard. He's ready to destroy the sophomore slump. As I said before, Connor Bedard is a superstar, and he is definitely going to be a 100-point player on a non-playoff team. He's got Taylor Hall healthy. He's got Andre Anthony Senior. He's got Tyler Bertuzzi. He's got a good cast of players. He's got Seth Jones on the back end and Tyrion Lehtonen, the defenseman on the back end for, the number 2 overall pick. But the Blackhawks, they're still got ways to go. But Bedard, he's going to have 100 points. He's going to be definitely like Alex Ovechkin in his second year as well. But I believe the Blackhawks will be a playoff team next season. The pieces are coming. The building blocks are getting there. You've got the assets of draft picks. You got certain free agents. The Chicago Blackhawks will be a playoff team next season. But as for Bedard, I believe he's going to be in the conversation, a top 5 Hart Trophy finalist. I know he's going to be on a bad team, and I know they're going to be saying, "Oh, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and David Pastrnak, those guys." But I'm going to say, Bedard will be a player that's going to be a top 5 in the point getting. It will be, I'm going to say this, 45 goals, 55 assists, 100 points this year for Connor Bedard. Now, let's talk about alternative captains and associate captains in the NHL promotions. Bo Horvat of the New York Islanders is now an associate captain of the New York Islanders with Anders Lee, my boy. He's one of the coolest dudes around, and he's the ultimate athlete, and he can throw a ball deep down the field better than Aaron Rodgers does with his conspiracy theories. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Islanders got a very good captain, associate captain with Bo Horvat. And now also I'd like to congratulate Lawson Krause, a.k.a. the Sheriff, an old friend, an old acquaintance. He was with the Florida Panthers. He was a lotto pick back in 2015. I remember I was there. And I remember Mr. Bill Torrey, said, from the Kingston Frontenacs, Lawson Krause. And, the Florida Panthers a year later, they traded that pick along with Dave Bolin, because the Coyotes needed cash and they needed like a player in return. I mean, Lawson Krause turned out to be a good, solid player. I mean, he's a power forward. Eventually he'd be like a 30 goal. I think he's gonna have a career year. I think he's gonna be in the 60 something point range. I think he's gonna be a 30 goal, 32 assist type of guy. I think he's gonna be a guy going to make an immediate impact in the Salt Lake City, Utah market. I mean, I'm looking at this question, like the Panthers as a wild card team. I mean, we're like, what sources are you reading? I mean, you got to look at the stats. I mean, like Nate Schmidt, I like his game a lot. Buquist and his brother, great combination, forward in the defense. I think the Florida Panthers have got a very strong top three, but I know it sucks to lose, certain key players, the Storlars and Lawrence. I mean, that right there, the Panthers did lose some key players, but I see them going to be back as the number one team in the Atlantic Division. But I think that they will be second best. New Jersey will be the number one team in the Eastern Conference, and the President's Trophy is definitely going to go to New Jersey because I think New Jersey's got a lot of expectations. You've got Luke Hughes, Jack Hughes, you've got Dougie Hamilton, you've got Nico Hischier, you've got a very talented New Jersey Devils squad. At the end of the day, I'm going to say that, the NHL, it's back. We're excited. And we got games to watch and games to attend. And hopefully we get to see some highlight reel goals, highlight reel assists, some highlight hits. And we're going to see a fun game tonight, like all three. Just tune in on ESPN, all the platforms, and also enjoy the concert and the festivities in Salt Lake City, Utah. And last thing I say, Utah Hockey Club, or I'm going to call them Utah Yeti, welcome to the NHL family, and hopefully we get to see fans down here in South Florida. We're excited to meet you guys, and let's have some fun tonight. It's opening night, guys. Let's enjoy. Oh, yeah, it's 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. We'll be back tomorrow for a new episode, recapping last night's games, and we will be back here talking about the games tomorrow and seeing what is going on in the NHL and in the industry. But it's been a fun day. It's been a fun half hour, and the sign right behind me. If you work really hard and are kind, great things will happen. Oh yeah. Things will happen right there. If you work hard, if you work really hard and kind, amazing things will happen. Yeah, that is a slogan right there. All right, everyone. It's been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. We'll be back here tomorrow for episode 3, recapping last night's games and the latest news in the NHL. And I'm your host, Gordon Maxwell, and have a great rest of the day.